Hello. Today I want to dig into the topic of creating safety in long-term relationships, both for men and women, okay? Because I am sure you guys have heard me talk about women. We need men to create this environment for us to feel very, very, very safe when it comes to intimacy. And we have this beautiful benefit of when we're in long-term relationships, it's like more safety and more safety is created for us women. And I honestly think that a lot of women don't take advantage of that space or that connection that we get to have when we know somebody almost better than we know ourselves, right? So we have to express that in a way of communication. Again, you hear me talk about communication. And that need to create safety, one, always starts with ourselves first, right? So we have to make sure that we are comfortable with ourselves and our bodies. And for the longest time, I never really truly understood that statement of you can only love someone else as much as you love yourself. And I did not agree with that for the longest time. I always thought, no, I don't get that. I am super hard on myself. I'm not where I want to be, but I love my husband and I love my kids more than anything, more than life itself. But the very, very interesting thing that happened to me was the more that I dropped into my personal growth journey and really learning about self-love, really learning about self-pleasure, really learning how to connect with my body, I learned that, oh my goodness, the amount of love that you can create when it comes from the power of love within yourself is absolutely mind-blowing. It blows the love that I thought I had out of the water. So it amplifies everything a ton. So that is amazing. But then we still need our partner to create this safety and this environment for us to be able to surrender and to feel comfortable when it comes to intimacy, right? So the same thing applies to our men. And I don't think enough people talk about this. And maybe this will kind of make you as a woman open your eyes a little bit onto the reasons why it's so important for you to love yourself first. Because when we do that, and then we can create safety for our men as well. And I think this gets overlooked because we just put so much on the man to create this space. But if we want our men to be very comfortable in the softer side, I don't want to get into, if you guys understand masculine and feminine energy, then this is like allowing them to kind of lean into their feminine a little bit more, and us being very comfortable and confident in holding that masculine space for them too. And this, it doesn't mean changing roles. And if you don't understand it, please go back and find my video on masculine and feminine energy, because I want to keep on this topic of creating safety. So when we allow them to surrender and get in touch with their feelings and allow themselves to kind of surrender to you as well, that's when the magic happens. That's when communication becomes deep. And us women love that. Like, we love it. We know men, the way they communicate is through intimacy. The way that we communicate is then to get into those deep topics once we feel safe and can surrender, right? So it's so important, and I don't think a lot of people talk about this, is our men need that space too. And how do we do that? we do that by being so deeply connected to our own intimacy, our own bodies, our own understanding that we have the power as women to not only receive so much pleasure, but also to be able to hold space for them to surrender into feelings, into their bodies, and into letting go with no expectation. And that's the reason why I always talk about how you're responsible for your own pleasure, and then you guys come together as this just magical souls. And it's such a different way to hold space in your relationship that not only shows up in the bedroom, it creates this beautiful environment outside of the bedroom that is very supportive and very loving and very understanding. And you just get to have fun. You get to be with that person, and they get to be your everything. And it's not a chore, and it's not work, and it's not, you gotta grind through it. Like, none of that is the way that a relationship should be. Ian and I were joking last night, talking about like how much fun we have together, whether that's intimacy or going for a hike or doing all that stuff. And people often tell us like, well, how are you guys so special? And it's not about being special. It's about putting each other as a priority and leaning into that. And our relationship, it's been 23 years, and there's definitely been some hard times. And the only thing that I wish that I could go back and change in our relationship is that I dug into myself way earlier in my life, that I was able to connect and see the value of self-love and self-respect and the importance of intimacy and connecting with my partner, because things are hard in life, but if you have that safety and you have that solid foundation as you're in your relationship, all the hard stuff, it's a little bit easier to deal with, and you can get through it because you have that person that is your rock and is your everything. So I'm hoping to really change relationships. And if this is something that is helpful, please, engage and let me know. Trying to see if this is stuff that you guys are digesting and understanding. And I will keep on my mission, because it feels so much more aligned for me to work with couples together, and then also working with men and females instead of just focusing on one side, because so much of the work that I do, I see both sides and I understand both sides, and it's easy for me to understand. And so if this is helpful, let me know.